أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. So far we have looked at three different conditions, right? Condition number one, we looked at who has to fast, okay? And condition number two, we looked at who has been given a rukhsa, basically, or they have a legal excuse not to fast, like a traveler or somebody who is sick. And today, inshallah, we're going to look at another option where fast is obligatory upon them, but they are not able to fast. So what is obligatory upon the elderly? So this includes elderly and permanently ill. So their condition is that fast is obligatory on them, is still fard on them, but they are not able to fast due to sickness or due to old age, as we said. Allah mentioned in the Qur'an, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ." As for those who cannot fast, who can fast only with difficulty, they may feed a poor person for every fast. And this is part of the ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 184. So let's look at the rulings from this, brothers. The elderly person who cannot fast are excused. So number one, elderly person, right, who cannot fast are excused. If a person is advanced in the age and physically unable to fast, fasting is no longer obligatory upon them. So one of the things we need to know, so somebody that maybe, we don't want to give an age, but somebody reached an age and then an elderly person. Now if they fast and the fasting is causing them harm to their body, then in that case they don't need to fast, okay? This applies when fasting causing genuine hardship beyond normal difficulty. So now we understand something very important, that some of the old people, alhamdulillah, they fast. MashaAllah, they can fast. My dad, alhamdulillah, till he died, he fasted. You know, alhamdulillah, I think he was 84. Alhamdulillah, and he fasted, no problem. So some people, though they are old, they can fast. It's not a problem for them. Alhamdulillah, you know, the spirit of fasting is there. But some people, they have the same spirit, right, to fast, but when they start fasting, they get, you know, they become sick, they become ill, they start vomiting, they can't take it. You know, it goes beyond normal ability, normal difficulty. It goes to another level. In this case, Allah gives them the rukhsa that they don't need to fast, but they need to do something else, which we're going to come to, which is called to give fidya, a replacement. Okay? For example, let's take an example of an 85-year-old woman becomes severely weak and disorientated when fasting. She is not required to fast. So 85-year-old, for example, the minute she starts fasting, her body starts to disintegrate. Or somebody who started to fast and then they ended up in hospital, okay, because of weakness, then in that case they don't need to fast. They are exempted from the fast, but they need to give fidya. Now this is case number one, where somebody is elderly, and then we got the case number two, where somebody has a permanent illness, okay? A person who has a chronic illness and no hope of recovery does not fast. So unfortunately these days we hear a lot of people got cancer, right? And probably, Allah forbid, if somebody reached a stage of cancer from which there is no return, okay, there is no return, they're not going to get cured ever. Yeah, in this case, if they fast, it is definitely harmful for them because they need to take medication and all these things. So in this case, what happens is they do not need to fast. In this case, they need to give fidya. A man with an example would be a man with permanent kidney failure who must take medication and fluids daily, does not fast. You know, people who have to do dialysis and all that, you know, they have to take medicines and certain things during the day. So now if they fast, you know, it will be more harm for them, right? They could, in certain case, they could end up losing their life. So in this case, Allah has given the option for them to give fidya. Now what is fidya, brothers? Let's quickly have a look at it. Fidya is obligatory instead of fasting. So when they give fidya, it replaces the fast for them. Okay. How do they pay? For each missed fast, one person must be fed. Yeah. So one fast missed, one person must be fed. Okay. This is called Fidya. It replaces fasting when the inability is permanent. So remember, just because I'm not able to fast today, I just can't give Fidya. Okay. The conditions that we just looked, that somebody's got a permanent illness or somebody is in a situation which is beyond normal and there is no hope of recovery, then they need to give Fidya. Okay. So for example, I'm not feeling well today. I'm feeling a bit sick today. I'm going to give Fidya. Is it okay? No, it's not going to work. If it's serious sickness, then I have to make it up after Ramadan. Okay, so an example, brothers, if Ramadan is 30 days, the person feeds 30 poor people or feed one poor person for 30 days. So simple option is, if somebody needs to give Fidya, they can give in advance money for 30 people. All right, that's fine. Or they can feed one poor person every day for the 30 days. Now the amount of Fidya. The Fidya amount should be the average meal that a person normally eats. So it should be the average meal that a person normally eats. It can be given as cooked meal or staple food like rice, flour. You can give it as it is. Many scholars allow giving it monetary value if it genuinely provides a meal for the poor. Some of the scholars said that instead of giving food, you can give the money as well, not a problem. But even if you're giving the money, brothers, we got to make sure that it has actually got to the poor person, right? This, unfortunately for me having to say this, a lot of the time we give the money and we don't know where it goes. Whether the poor person actually ate it or not, we don't know. Yeah, so be very careful about these things. So in this country, brothers, at the moment it's £5, but at different places I've seen of saying £6, £7. All right. If it's a typical meal costs £5, then £5 per missed fast is given to the needy person. So for every fast, £5. All right. This has been going for a few years, but don't go by what I'm saying. Do your investigation. If you need to give Fidya, but generally at the moment it is £5. Two other rulings, brothers. Remember, no qada, making up the fast is required. So if somebody falls in these two conditions that we have said, then they don't need to make up the fast. Okay, then you don't need to make up the fast. If somebody is sick or ill, somebody is sick or traveling, sorry, then once the condition is lifted, then they're going to make up the fast, right? Say for example, I'm going to Manchester tomorrow. Okay, say for example, I break the fast. Then when I'm back from Manchester after end of Ramadan, I'll go to make the fast, right? But in this case, they don't make up the fast. Okay. Fidya completely replaced the obligation. The obligation of fasting is completely replaced when they give Fidya. Okay, so an example would be an elderly man cannot say I will fast in winter. Instead, he give Fidya instead. So an elderly person who's falling in this condition, he can't say, for example, oh yeah, you know what, I know I'm not able to fast now, but I'm going to fast in winter. All right, it's not going to work for him. Yeah, because he's not going to get better. No one's going to get younger. Is somebody going to get younger again? No, it's irreversible. So so in this case, the best option is to give Fidya. But one more condition, brothers. If the illness is temporary, the ruling changes. Okay, so if somebody has a hope of getting better, all right, somebody is taking medicine now, right, but they have a hope of getting better, then in that case they need to do the makeup for the fast. If a person is sick but expects recovery, then they do not give Fidya. They wait when they're better, and then they're going to make up for the fast. Okay, so an example could be a person undergoing temporary treatment misses 7 fasts. After recovery, he need to make up these 7 fasts. And one other point also, brothers, if somebody dies without giving the Fidya, this is something very serious, right? If a permanently unable person did not give Fidya before that, it should be taken from his estate, okay, from his wealth. This is serious. It's an obligation in front of Allah, okay? This is done before inheritance is distributed. So if a person dies and his fast has not been completed, first that will be taken, okay, and given. Then his inheritance will be sorted out. An elderly woman, example, an elderly woman missed 10 fasts and did not pay Fidya. Her heirs give the equivalent feeding from her wealth. Okay, so it will be taken, whoever is left, who is the inheritor for her wealth, they will first have to give these things. So very important, brothers, sometimes our parents, they are old, and sometimes they lose consciousness as well, and they're not able to keep a track of how many fasts they've missed. This is an obligation in front of Allah, right? So if somebody has missed a fast because of this condition, they need to know that their family know. I missed 5 fasts, I missed 6 fasts, So what happens if they are not, able? So if they are not able to give fidya, somebody else will give fidya on their behalf. And even if they die, then somebody else will give fidya on their behalf, and that way they are not held accountable in front of Allah. But if they are in an old stage and they did not fast and they did not give fidya, then the issue will become very serious in the sight of Allah, and obviously in the day of judgment they will have to answer to Allah. So we ask Allah to give us the ability, inshallah, to fast as long as we can, and we ask Allah for good health, that Allah does not put us in any of these situations. As long as we live in this dunya, in this earth, Allah give us the ability to fast, and also Allah keeps us away from any illness or sickness that becomes permanent. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah bil alamin.